Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are fishing big baits. We are throwing weedless swim baits on docks, on shallow cover. This is a great time of the year to do that. And as you can see, we are throwing some big baits, right? I've always been fascinated with big baits and their drawing power of fish. Now, growing up in Indiana, we don't have a lot of big bass, but that doesn't mean you can't fish big baits. So on this series, we are gonna dive into how to fish big baits, where to fish big baits, and the best ways that you can possibly catch them, right? So get those big sticks out, let's go throw some big baits. We'll see you out there. So we're gonna start fishing this big bait. So here's our classic big bait situation. We are fishing docks on the windy side of the lake, and as you can see, there is a ton of boat traffic out. You can't fish deep even if I paid you good money, right? You're just not gonna catch a lot of fish right now doing that. But fish have come into these docks, right, to get cover from it. Fish have come into these docks to get cover from everything that is going on to the lake. So what we want to be able to do is present these fish that have seen every lure under the face of the sun a new look, right? So we're gonna start fishing this big bait way up under these docks. Now, as you can see in this underwater video, fish come under docks this time of year for multiple reasons. One, cover from boat traffic, and two, the bait fish are starting to move shallow. The oxygen in the legs is going down. Fish are moving up into those docks, as you can see here, as a way to find cover and to find bait fish. Now, because it's late summer, all of those fish under these docks have seen every lure under the sun. Jigs, worms, Senkos, all of it. The big bait is a great way to present a bait that the fish have not seen. Now, I'm gonna go underwater here, show you a bunch of big baits that I love to do this with, and we're gonna see what looks good and what way we can present those baits successfully. First up here, we have an industry standard bait. This is the Magdraft by Mega Bass. This is the 6-inch bait. This bait is an industry standard for one of two reasons. One, this is a swim bait that you can fish on regular gear. Two, this swim bait, as you can see in the head wobble here on this bait, has set the industry standard for what a good swim bait is going to do. You got a nice head wobble, a nice tail wobble, there's a full action swim bait. This swim bait is also spectacular at being a swim bait that people who aren't used to throwing swim baits can pick up and throw. You can pick up and chuck and wind this bait and have no trouble fishing it whatsoever. Now, the problem I run into with the Magdraft in the lakes that I fish, look at all this underwater vegetation. The double treble hook on the bottom coming out there tends to catch a lot of vegetation, but there is a fix to that. The fix to that problem is the Magdraft Freestyle. This is the 6-inch Magdraft Freestyle, and as you can see, you can rig this bait weedless. Now, the advantage of rigging this bait weedless is very apparent here. I can fish this bait through just about any cover that you can imagine. It still's got the classic Magdraft head wobble. The only thing that's different about this bait than the original is it sinks a little bit faster, right? That nice clean kick, that nice body roll and head wobble, still apparent in the Magdraft Freestyle, and it comes through cover very, very, very cleanly. Now, a direct competitor to the Magdraft is the new Bass Mafia zeldangerous swim bait. Now, if you know anything about Chris Zaldane, the guy who fishes swim baits when money is on the line big time. I really like this swim bait for a couple reasons. One, it has a very pronounced body wobble and head shake. You can see that here from the top down. that swim bait really has a nice pronounced body wobble. 2, you can see it in the video here. This swim bait comes through everything, but it also has amazing luminescence in the water. It's got that sheen, that bait fish kind of glow as it comes through here, and I'm really a big believer in throwing something the fish haven't seen. Fish have seen Magdrafts, right? They've seen it. They haven't seen this swim bait. It's slightly different. It's very similar, but at the same time, slightly different can make a big difference. That luminescent color on this bait in the water really is a nice touch. As you can see here, we're going through some salad and it's coming through clean. This is another great option in that swim bait category. Now, let's also talk tail shape. Both the Magdraft and the Zeldangerous have a boot tail swim bait. Now that is key in warm water. The boot tail is king in warm water because it's going to give that bait an aggressive wobbling action that you see here. That's what fish want in warm water. Next up we have the Beast Coast 6.5 Creep. Now this bait for me is a cooling down of the water bait. It's meant to be rolled slower. It also has that good aggressive kick, but it's a more subtle tail kick than the Magdraft or the Zeldangerous. It's got great body roll. It's got great head roll. This is a awesome option for pressured lakes and as the water is cooling down. Now, that tail kick is subtle but still pronounced. You also get the ability here to throw this bait in ultra clear water. As you can see, the colors on this bait are phenomenal, right? And it does a great job coming through all this heavy cover here. We're gonna watch it swim through this weed patch around this dock. It is a great bait to throw. It's also a big profile bait, right? If you have gizzard shad in the lake, great swim bait to throw. If you have threadfin shad, also great to throw in that clear type color pattern. It's another option. It's a different option to give the fish something that they haven't necessarily seen. I'm a big believer in doing that all the time. Here, folks, is your cold water killer, a classic bait, the Huddleston Deluxe 68 Special. Now, I love the weedless version in my lakes because of all of the cover that we're in all the time. Now, the Hud is a different tail, and it starts a whole new category of tails. It has what's called a vortex tail or a wedge-shaped tail. This tail is going to excel in water that is 55 degrees on down to the brutal 30-degree temperatures. That bait right here was designed for trout lakes out west, but it can work here. I love the 68 Special, and here is what the Hud was designed to do, to go through weeds really slowly, but also to be drug on the bottom like this. That is where this bait excels, fishing it like a jig, fishing it ultra slow, but you can throw it under docks. It's got a good body wobble, and it excels in cold water. The fish won't leave the docks here until the docks get taken out. Then they will be on shallow cover until the water gets really cold. Heck, I even catch bass ice fishing in the channels in 2 to 3 feet of water. The Hud is an awesome option for cold water fishing. Plus, a wedge tail bait is going to get bit year round. It's just going to excel in that colder water period. Another subtle option here is the live target gill. Now, I really enjoy this bait in the cold water when the fish are still looking to eat bluegill, but they need that subtle action. As you can see here, this bait is built for fishing docks and fishing in heavy cover, but at the same time, this is a phenomenal cold water bait, and it will come through just about anything. Even though it has that exposed jig hook, it will come through just about any kind of cover that you can throw it in. I really like this bait. It skips well under docks. It has a great profile. It's hand size. A bluegill profile sometimes is hard to deal or hard to find with and find good hookup rates. I've had a lot of success throwing this bait around docks, around cover, because it has a great profile. It has a great realistic image on it, but it also is subtle and it's not going to be too much in their face. All right, sometimes big baits, especially in lakes with smaller populations of bass, can be too much. This bait is right at home there. Hey guys, it was super duper windy out there, but throwing swim baits, especially under docks this time of the year, can lead to some fantastic results. Plus, this time of year, fish under those docks have seen every lure under the sun. right? They've seen jigs, they've seen worms, they've seen a million Sinkos, they've seen flukes, they've seen everything besides big swim baits. In Indiana, we don't have a lot of big fish, like 10, 12 pounders. It's not Texas, it's not Florida. But what we do have are some decent class fish that see a lot of lures that not necessarily going to respond to those lures. We have a ton of fishing pressure. Our most popular tournament lakes have Tuesday nighters, Wednesday nighters, Thursday nighters, Saturday, Sunday, you name it. Those fish have seen everything under the sun by August. But one thing that guys don't throw up here is big swim baits. So let's talk about big swim baits this time of the year. Number one, I am throwing paddle tail big swim baits 9 times out of 10, right? Your classic Mega Bass Magdraft, right? We're gonna get some underwater video of these things going. This is a great bait to skip up under docks. Now, I like to throw the freestyle version of this. This one has that frog hook there on it, right? It's got that treble hook on it. You can throw that bait, but the weeds underneath, they're gonna snag up a ton. So what you can do is throw that bait weedless with the freestyle. Now, this is a 6-inch swim bait. Not a big bait in the sense of big baits, but around here, that's a big bait, right? Plus, with the class of fish we are targeting, this is a bait where you're gonna catch 2s and 3s, but you're also going to get those 4s and 5s. And if you're fishing under a dock, this will pull them out from under the dock so you can see where they are. When I'm practicing for a tournament a lot of times, I'm gonna throw this bait because what it's going to do is it's going to draw fish out, drawing power, right? Tactical Bassin talks about it all the time. Other people talk about it all the time. It's drawing power, right? Are those baits pulling fish out of that cover so you can see them and then go back and catch them with something else? So that Mega Bass Freestyle Magdraft is gonna be another one. Another great bait that I just got my hands on, Chris Zaldane's new Bass Mafia Zeldangerous swim bait. Looks a lot like a Magdraft, but looks great underwater, right? That underwater footage of this bait has really made me a believer. The glow in these baits also is something that sets them apart. That paint scheme and color scheme under there looks deadly underwater, right? Then you have another bait, which when the water gets colder around here, I will start throwing this Hud 68 Special, right? With the 8-inch tail put on there. That's a killer for crawling on the bottom and doing different things, but you can also skip it up under docks, and it is completely weedless. And then that bait collapses and there's a big old jig hook in there, right there, ready to stick them. But that is another great option, weedless around docks. Then you've got your live target bluegill here. Very, very, very subtle swim bait, but also good. As you can see on our underwater footage, there's a ton of bluegill underneath docks, right? So, throwing big baits. We're gonna do a whole series on big baits. I'm gonna throw them in different situations. I'm gonna get to know them because I wanna catch the biggest fish in the lake. I wanna thank you for hanging out with us today, guys. Hopefully you learned something. We're gonna keep this big bait series going. We're gonna keep this underwater series going. We wanna make videos that you guys like to watch. So let us know in the comments what you want us to do, what baits you wanna see underwater. Let us know what videos you want us to try to do. We're trying to mix it up here, trying to do different things. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Get on and help us out. Buy lures on our links for Sportsman's Outfitters. That helps us a ton. Let us know what you guys wanna see us do in the future. We'll see you next time.